Good day. Thank you for the opportunity to share my presentation with you. The title of my presentation today is Academic Equity and Excellence, Portland Public Schools. I have 18 slides in this presentation. I will have opportunities to answer questions at the end of the presentation. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to discussing my understanding of academic equity and excellence with you through this presentation. Every successful organization spends time identifying elements that will serve as the core habits that undergird their belief systems. I have listed 10 bullets that represent pertinent core practices that should anchor our organization as we establish systems for success. They are a clear vision and mission statement, leadership excellence, teacher excellence, instructional excellence, which is anchored in having a viable curriculum, multi-tiered systems of support, which allow us to meet students at their point of need, socio-emotional learning support, a sense of self-awareness, professional development that is ongoing, relevant, and timely, seeing families and community members as partners in education, establishing our priorities and accountability system and systems for providing service. At the bottom of all of that is creating a culture of trust. The culture of trust is essential. I will be looking at and talking to each of these bullets in the upcoming slides. I will elaborate in an effort to explain what they are, how they may look like on campuses, and what we need to do to ensure that we're able to implement them. Every successful organization has a vision and a mission statement. The vision and mission statement identifies who we are and what we do and our expectation for our graduates. It also gives direction and purpose to stakeholders who want to engage with us. The vision and mission statement is at the heart of the initiatives that drive our work. I will work with senior directors and area superintendents, as well as the academic office, student services office, to ensure a clear understanding of how the vision and mission statement impacts our work at the site level. This will include making decisions, purchasing resources, and how we engage in instructional practices that are designed to accelerate student academic achievement. In order that the vision and mission statement becomes a part of who we are, it is important for us to have it posted in the main office in all traffic areas, and it is also equally important for us to revisit it as often as possible to ensure it is front and center and continues to drive the work that we do. Effective leaders practice habits that help hone their skills around their profession and their daily discharge of duties. I do expect that some of these practices are in place and that we can work collaboratively with the site instructional team and district level leaders to refine and develop others. Successful school site leaders have a pulse on the instruction, content, pedagogy, and student engagement that goes on at the site. They work with teachers to monitor student performance and what kinds of assessments are being implemented. They pay close attention to formative assessment data in order to make the tweaks that are necessary. They provide professional development in a timely manner and also provide an implementation cycle that helps them continue to grow. Effective leaders also strategically lead change. They pay close attention to the improvement cycle, and they possess and use effective interpersonal skills, know how to use organizational management and resources efficiently, and can bring parents in as partners in educating students. I will work with the area superintendents, school principals, the senior directors to make sure that we have a plan and process in place to enable us effectively implement all these skills. As a regional superintendent, my most important responsibility will be to identify and recruit strong leaders who are open minded, committed to the work, willing to grow, and able to build capacity among their staff. Candidates will be screened by senior directors and assistant superintendents using predetermined rubrics that highlight the characteristics we are looking for. I will work with the HR department to create a candidate pool while also developing a pipeline of leaders groomed and ready to step into vacancies that may arise. These leaders are expected to be collaborative and supportive, retaining highly effective staff to continue to improve student academic achievement. In addition, my focus will be on working with senior directors and site leaders to build capacity by creating leaders at each level on the campus to support learning. I'll also work with teams at the site to create functional PLCs so there is a formal structure and process for discussing student work. Sample student work and rubrics will be reviewed at the site by school leaders on an ongoing basis. I have placed the slide for the process of improving student outcomes strategically between the Leadership Excellence slide and the Teacher Excellence slide. The reason being that the bullets and the bands in here and the responsibilities on this slide are shared by both parties. It is the responsibility of the leader to share the overall data for the school, to analyze data by content area, and to analyze data by grade level. It is also their responsibility to make sure that their teachers understand how their students perform. The first three bands, in essence, are the responsibility of the leader. The last three bands are the responsibility of the teacher with the support of the leader. Hopefully, by discussing the process of improving student outcomes, we pay closer attention to student academic performance, gather data and evidence of student work to ensure that our students are making adequate progress towards mastery. The process of improving student outcomes is essential to the success and the academic performance of our students. I look forward to working with senior directors, area superintendents, principals, and possibly teachers as needed to design a plan that will allow us the time and the opportunities to continue to visit this process in an effort to improve our schools. They hire. Teachers are at the heart of the work that we do in our schools. Consequently, we must take the time to hire the best qualified candidates for the job. Excellent teachers have a good sense of what is taking place in their classrooms. They have great lesson plans with clearly stated measurable objectives. I will work with senior directors, area superintendents, and principals to design an effective lesson plan template that will ensure equity and academic excellence for all. Teacher excellence also means there is a good knowledge of the appropriate grade level standards, the needs of the students, and how to use scaffolds to move students towards content mastery. I intend to work with central office leadership and senior directors to create the profile for an excellent teacher, then work at sites to quickly build capacity to attain that goal. Teacher excellence is also developed through teacher collaboration with peers. Participation in ongoing productive professional development sessions help advance teachers towards excellence. Ongoing walkthroughs and observations with timely feedback will serve as indicators of teacher growth. Student outcomes will confirm who the strong teachers are, and hopefully their practice can be replicated in other classrooms. We are an educational institution. Therefore, instructional excellence is paramount to what we do. In order to attain instructional excellence, every level of hierarchy in the organization must be conversant or aware of the common core standards and how we unpack those standards to support our schools. One of the ways we can do that is by adopting a balanced literacy approach to teaching and learning. A balanced literacy approach allows us to address Howard Gardner's learning styles for each student. We must select a curriculum that is school-wide, that is shared school-wide, and that's got supplemental resources that can help us address matters of cultural competence, matters of social emotional learning, and issues of topics such as restorative justice practices. Our teachers must be able to design clear lesson plans with clearly stated objectives and goals, and also assessments that will help us measure student advancement towards mastery. The lesson plans have to have predetermined, effective, grade level, age appropriate activities that are designed to deepen student understanding. It is essential to always establish a baseline for instruction. Create flexible groups. Students learn better from their peers. So, flexible grouping is a necessity in the classroom. My goal is to continue to work with site leadership, area superintendents, and senior directors as we work collaboratively, learn together to improve instructional practices in our classroom. Teachers are also expected to grow, so having a functional PLC that will provide a forum for them to share their ideas, evaluate student work, analyze lesson plans, and recreate and retweak topics around what they expect to teach is also a necessity for our teachers. We must design a multi-tiered system of support for our students. It is another way of ensuring instructional excellence. The multi-tiered system of support is a combination of RTI processes and the PBIS process. The whole notion is to ensure that we meet every student at their point of need. It is divided into two components. There is the academic piece and there is the behavioral piece. The universal interventions are accessible to all students and should address the needs of 95% of students in the classroom. The secondary interventions are rapid response, high efficiency strategies that can help the few students who have missed an item or two close the achievement gap. Then the tertiary interventions are anchored in assessments. So we must make sure that we select the appropriate assessment to identify what is impeding learning and to remove that barrier for the student. Multi-tiered systems of support are also essential for the campus as a whole. So I'll be working with district level leadership, the Student Support Services Department, senior directors, area superintendents, and principals to identify the appropriate multi-tiered systems of supports for each campus. They will be tailored to the needs of specific students and they will be supported by the district level to ensure that our students are making adequate gains. Socio-emotional learning helps our students develop a sense of self-awareness, self-management, and relationship skills. It is important as adults on the campus to create an environment that is caring within our school community. We need to do that by setting clear expectations for behavior in every arena. We also need to give opportunities for restorative justice practices. It is essential to allow students to talk through the process that led to their infraction and to also discuss ways they can avoid a repeat in the days and weeks to come. Character development is an essential component of social emotional learning support. As much as possible, if teachers can integrate some of the strategies for character development in classroom practices and in lesson plans, it will help students better hone their skills. We'll also provide mental health services as much as is possible. I look forward to working with the district level leadership, and I also look forward to working with senior directors collaboratively and as well as principals to come up with a plan that will make sure that social emotional learning support is an integral part of our daily practice in school. Professional development is at the core of what we do. It is a proven way to improve instructional practice at campuses. Professional development should support our professional learning communities. Walkthroughs, observations, and feedback should serve as the data that is used to determine what types of professional developments are needed by individual schools, the district as a whole, and teacher groups. Professional development should be data driven, tiered, ongoing, relevant, and timely. We must also have a rapid implementation cycle because if we do not implement our learning right away, the tendency is for us to forget parts of it. My goal will be to work with senior directors, area superintendents, site principals to ensure that professional development experiences are implemented in classrooms across the board. We will gather data to see what growth our teachers are making around the professional development experiences and the impacts the PD is having on student academic achievement. Our goal is to make sure that we are effective, efficient, and that we develop and increase teacher efficacy at every opportunity. I have included a sample professional development plan template. Our professional development plan template serves as our year-long guide for our responsibility towards improving student academic achievement. Every campus stakeholder group has a responsibility towards this goal. We have our ILT teams, we have grade level meetings, we have staff meetings, and we have the different responsibilities and the time bands for each of the categories mentioned. We also have some of the activities that will be taking place. For example, there will be a lesson study. In addition, we do have time bands for when different tasks ought to be completed. And we spent time collaboratively creating formative assessments to measure how close we are and approximate towards what the entire goal should be, what the end goal should be. I look forward to working with our team to create a sample professional development plan and with the principals that will serve as a guide on their campuses as they navigate the choppy waters of instructional excellence and student academic achievement. I have included a sample benchmark assessment data. On the left are the numbers that represent the students. And if you look at the benchmark assessments that are based on Common Core formative assessments, each cycle should show a reduction in the number of reds and oranges. And by the third cycle, we should have a lot more green bands. The increase in the number of green bands tells us the number of students that are ready and prepared and have attained mastery, and as a result will do so much better on the test. This is one way of monitoring teacher classroom assessment. It can also be expanded to grade levels and to the school as a whole. I look forward to creating some kind of data measure, data tool that will enable us keep a pulse on how students are doing in each classroom on campus. Equally important is our ability to measure teacher efficacy. This data shows the classroom of a teacher and how that teacher is performing relative to their students. We can look at the bands and see how many students are below the grade level band and see how many students are above. This will tell us what kinds of support the teacher needs and how to best monitor teacher growth and provide professional development and experiences that will help them become better at their craft. I look forward to calibrating schools and looking at teacher groups to determine who our strong teachers are and to see how we can use their practices within their classrooms to build capacity at that site and across sites to lift all our schools. Our families and community members are equal productive partners in education. In order for us to continue to engage positively, we must make sure that we keep the home-school relationship and communication lines open. We have to create formal and informal forms for interaction. One way we can do that is by establishing opportunities for principal chats, coffee chats, and conversations about student academic achievement and whatever other concerns they may bring to the table. It is essential that our communities support what's going on in the school. It is also essential that our school reach out to the community and showcase our successes. I look forward to working with senior directors and school site leadership to plan and organize effective ways to communicate with our families and to increase participation in our schools. A culture of trust is essential to the success of an organization. In order to establish a culture of trust, with the teams with whom I work. I intend to get to know staff and district level personnel. I will visit schools and have people share and hold dialogue and conversations with them. I will collaboratively to establish accountability measures, develop norms, goals, expectations, systems, and procedures. I also will meet with the site leadership team and principal with the principal's permission. There will be opportunities for individual meetings as well as whole group meetings. A culture of trust is essential for the work that we do. It is important that we are open minded and we think and expect the best, that we're respectful and we embrace other people's ideas. A culture of trust is one of the essential ingredients for a successful organization. I look forward to having conversations with team members at all the different levels to ensure that we develop, sustain, and maintain a culture of trust and that our habits continue to foster and nurture this very important ingredient of our work. We must be able to hold one another accountable for our work. We must set priorities and systems that enable us accomplish tasks and goals. We must be able to meet deadlines as well. In my former assignment, I supervised 47 schools. In an attempt to make sense of the work, I established priorities and created accountability systems with the help of the school support officers and the site principals. Based on what our findings were, we differentiated support. Differentiation of support was based on the principal experience, the effectiveness of that principal, and the academic data. The expectation was also that the principals will repeat the same process with their department heads and teachers. Time on campus was also allocated based on performance data. To enable us continue to hold each other accountable, we created opportunities for weekly check-ins, and we also created opportunities for one-on-one interaction and dialogue to discuss campus visits from the previous week and create plans for the upcoming week. I look forward to working with the senior directors, area superintendents, and principals to create a calendar and a plan for how we're going to hold each other accountable as we do this very important work. I do want to thank the team for listening to my presentation. I also want to acknowledge the privilege I've been given to address the topic of academic excellence and equity, and I do look forward to working with you closely in the near future. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attentiveness, and I am open to questions that you may have. I'm willing to address them.